Shalom, and thank you for joining us for this week's Hebrew class. My name is Tom Howling, and today we will go through Yehuchanan, or in modern Hebrew, Yochanan, or in English, John, chapter 6, verses 57 to 61. So let us begin. And firstly, for anyone who happened to have joined us for the first time, we have a chart that explains to you the Nikud, the vowel markings, and I've given you these great resources which I'll encourage you to use. So let us begin now. And as we're in 57, how is it represented? With a Nun, which has a value of 50, and a Zion, a value of 7, being the seventh letter of the alphabet. So let's go through the letters. Kaf, Aleph, Shin, Resh. Shin, Lamed, Chet, Nun, Yod, Hey, Aleph, Vayet, because there's no dot. Hey, Chet, Yod, Vav, Aleph, Nun, Kaf, Yod, Chet, Yod, Bayet, because of the dot. Gimel, Lamed, Lamed. And we will now begin by reading. Ka'asher, like that. Shelachani, he sent me, with the ni at the end, meaning me. And where there's no pronoun in the root word, then we put he. And then it tells us who. Ha'av, the Father. Chai, the living. So the living Father, in other words. Ve'anoki, and I, Chai, live. Big lal, and that can be translated as because of. If we look down here, we've got big lal. Is a prep, it can mean because of, on account of. So just as the living Father has sent me and I live on account, so we will now read that. And so we read it. Ka'asher shelachani ha'av Chai, ve'anoki Chai, biglal. Like that, he sent me, the Father, the living, and I live because of. And so we turn to part B. We have an Aleph, a Vayet, a Yod, Kaf, Nun Soviet. That means Nun at the end of a word. It's a different form than the normal Nun, and we have that with certain letters. Hey, Aleph, Kaf, Lamed, Aleph, Tav, Yod, Gimel, Mem Soviet, Hey, Vav, Aleph, Yod, Chet, Yod, Hey, Bayet, Gimel, Lamed, Yod. Just one little point here. We see we've got an U sound, and therefore we only say the vowel mark there. And the Aleph is white, meaning we don't pronounce it. So let's read. Avi, my father, Ken, so, ha'okel, the one eating. Oti, me, gum also, who, he, Yichyeh, he shall live, because it's an imperfect form with the yod in front. Big la li, because of me. Again, the ending suggests me. Right, so the translation is, I live on account of my Father. Then there's like a comma. So the one who eats me shall also live on account of me. And that's how it's translated. And I've given you okel, which is a masculine noun, meaning food, dining or meal. And you see it's a different form than this one. So therefore, that is the form that means food, but this one's different. So that's why I translated the one eating. It's more like a participle form. Whereas this one is the masculine noun form. So just slight changes in the vowel marks will give you a different meaning. So let us read that. Avi, Cain, ha-o-kel, oti, gam, hu, yichyeh, big la li. And the translation, my father. That goes from I live on account of my father. And then it's like a comma. So the one eating me, also he shall live because of me. And then we come to 58a. It's represented with a nun 50 and a chet 8, being the 8th letter of the alphabet. And we go through the letters. Hey Vav Aleph, Hey Lamed Chet Mem Safit, Hey Yod Resh Dalet, Mem Nun Safit, Hey Shin Mem Yod Mem Safit Lamed Aleph Kaf Aleph Shin Resh. And so we read it. Who, meaning he or he is. Now it could be it is, because who can be used for it as well. But in this case, he's talking about himself. So he is ha-lechem, the bread. Ha-yored, the one descending. Of course, he's talking about the Son of Man, which of course means himself. The one descending, min from ha-shemayim, the heavens. Lo, not ka-asher, like that. So he is the bread that came down from the heavens and is not like. And I've given you the root where we've got the one descending. Comes from yarad. It's a kol verb to descend, to go down, to decrease. So we read it. Hu ha-lechem ha-yored min ha-shemayim lo Ka'asher. He is the bread, the one descending from the heavens, not like that. And we go to part B then. And we have an Aleph, Kaf, Lamed, Vav. Aleph, Veit, Vav, Tav, Yod, Kaf, Mem, Safit. Aleph, Tav, Hey, Mem, Nun, Safit. Veit, Yod, Mem, Tav, Vav, Hey, Aleph, Kaf, Lamed. So we begin, we've got a kamatz here. And because there's a kamatz, there is a grammar rule that tells us, and I've got it down here in oklu, where we use ok instead of ak. So in oklu, we have an example of the kamatz rule in a closed syllable. So we can see there's no vowel after the kaf, so therefore it's a closed syllable. And at least in modern Hebrew, they use oklu. And the u at the end means they. So they ate. Of course, the root of it is akal, which is a kol verb to eat, to consume, to use. And then we read, avotekem, your fathers. Now that could be also the fathers of you, but it's usually translated as your fathers. And the your is the kem at the end, that's a plural you, so therefore it's your fathers. Et gremamaka ha-man, translated as the manna. But let's have a look where it comes from. Well, we haven't got it here, but it literally means portion, the portion. And then we have va-ya-mu-tu, and they died. And that comes from met, kol verb to die, to perish, to expire. And another form is mavet, which is a masculine noun meaning death. So, and they died. Kill the one eating, or the one eating, or the ones eating would be probably more accurate, because that's a plural there, so that has to be plural as well. They died, the ones eating. So therefore, and again, it's a participle form because we've got the zere there. We haven't got the segol, which would make it a noun. The one eating. And so, is not like that manna. So the one coming down from the heavens is not like that manna that your fathers ate and died. The one who eats, and I've used as a participle the one eating. Right, so now we're going to read that. And it is, Oklu avotekem et ha-man vayamutu ha-okel. They ate your fathers, grammar, the manna, and they died. The one eating, and then we come to part C, and we have an aleph, a tav. Hey lamed chet memsafit, hey zion, hey yod chet yod, hey lamed ayin vav lamed memsafit. And we read it. Et, which is grammar marker, ha lechem, the bread, ha ze, this, so this bread, yichyeh, he shall live, that's an imperfect form, that's what shall, le'olam, forever. And therefore the translation, the one who eats this bread shall live forever. So now we can read that. Et ha lechem ha ze yichyeh le'olam. Grammar mark of the bread, this, he shall live forever. And so now we move to 59a. It's represented with a nun, which has a value of 50, and a tet, being the 9th letter of the alphabet. And that's how we get our values. Remembering that each letter has a numerical value. So let us go through the letters now. Kaf, Dalet, Vayet, Resh, Yod, Memsafit, Hey, Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Dalet, Bayet, Resh, Bayet, Vayet, Yod, Tav, Kaf, Nun, Samek, Tav. And we read, Ka, De, Varim. Like the words. The kaf is like. Ha-ele. These. Diber, he spoke, because the word diber means to speak. Bevet, in the house, and I've added of. Knesset, Knesset, the assembly. Translated as the synagogue, but we know that Knesset is also the government of Israel today. So it literally means the assembly. But it's referring, of course, to the synagogue, which isn't even a Hebrew word. Right, and down here we've got kines, which is a piel verb to assemble people or to call a meeting. And then, of course, I've given you also kehillah, which is a feminine noun meaning community, congregation, or a gathering. So it's just a different word that you'll come across. And I've given you the note here. The word synagogue originates from the Greek word synagoge, meaning assembly. So I'm just giving you some insights into how Hebrew also adopts some words that are not necessarily Hebrew, but Knesset is. So let us read. Ka devarim ha'ele the vet Knesset. Knesset. Like the words these he spoke in the house of the assembly. And so we come to 59b. We have a bet, lamed, mem, daled, vav. Bet, kaf, fe, resh, nun, chet, vav, mem, so fit. And we read, be, lamdo, in his teaching. Remember, the bet is in and the O at the end is his. So in his teaching, now we've got down here, limed is a pure verb to teach, to instruct. Lamad is a kol verb to learn, to acquire knowledge. So it's a different form. It's not even limed, but it's lamdo. So it means in his teaching, be kefar nachum. So the bet again is in, and kefar meaning village, and Nachum is the name of the village, and Nachum, of course, is the minor prophet. And I've given it down here, Nachum meaning consolation. Minor prophet from 722 BC. So most probably this is the village he was born in, that prophet. In the village of Nachum. So words like these in the synagogue, when he taught in Capernaum. Now we can see that they've actually joined those words, but generally they're not actually, they're hyphenated or so to give it like it's a village of. Right, so now we can read that, but before we do that, we've got kefar, masculine noun, meaning a rural village, and it's the first word in many names of Hebrew towns or towns in Israel. So we read it. Be lamdo bi kefar nachum. In his teaching in the village of Nachum. And so now we come to 60. It's represented with the samek, which has a value of 60. And then we go through letters. Vav resh be yod mem sofit, mem tav lamed mem yod dalet yod vav, kaf shin mem ayin mem sofit, aleph mem resh vav, kaf shin hey. I'm just doing it a bit quicker so we really make our brain think about the letters. Now we read it. Ve rabim, and many. Well, we know that rab means much, many, abundant, great. So we can use many. And many, mi tal mi daiv. From, that's the mem, his, the vav at the end, disciples. And it's a plural because you've got a yod there. So we know it's from his disciples. Ke sham am. Now the kaf could be like or when they heard. The at the end with the kamatz and the mem, that means them or they. When they heard or like they heard. So when they heard is probably more appropriate. And then we've got here amru, which could be also omru. They said, third person pronoun. Again, the ending is third person pronoun. They said. Kashe, which is the word which means hard. Now, I've given it down here, kashe, as an adjective or adverb. It can mean hard, solid, difficult, strict, or severe. So, in other words, his words were hard or they were severe, you know. When many of his disciples heard, they said, very difficult. So now we're going to read that. The Rabbim mi tal mi daif ke shamam omru kashe. And many from his disciples, when they heard, they said, hard. And then we go through the letters. Hey Daled Vet Resh. Hey Zion Hey. Mem Yod. Yod Vav Kaf Lamed. Lamed Shin Mem Ayin. Aleph Tav Vav. And we read it. Ha Davar. The word. So hard the word or difficult the word. Hazeh this. Me. Which means who. Yukal, meaning shall be able. And its root is yakal, which is a kal verb to be able, to be permitted, to be able, right? Now, why is there no yod there? Because they don't generally have two yods in a row. When it's in perfect form, they change the yod to a vav. Maybe that's why there's the gesh there, but then it becomes yukal. And it's lishmo'ah, to hear. Literally, that could be for hearing, because it's almost like it's a participle form. So shall be able for hearing or to hear. Oto, him. This is a difficult word. Who is able to hear it? And so we will now read that. Ha-davar, hazeh, me, yukal, lishmo'ah, oto. The word this, who shall be able to hear him. And so now we come to 61a, and we have a Samek, value of 60, a Aleph, value of 1. So we know we're in 61. And so we read it. Sorry, we go through the letters. Vav Yod Vet Nun Sofit, Yod He Vav Shin Ayin, Bet Lamed, Bet Vav, Kaf Yod, Tav Lamed, Mem Yod, Dalet Yod, Vav, Mem Lamed Yod Nun Yod, Mem Sofit. And we read it. Va Ya Vem. And he understood. So why does it understand? Stood. It comes from the root here, ban, which is a kal verb to understand, to comprehend. And he understood. It's a finished action because of the vav and the yod. The yod makes it imperfect, the vav makes it perfect. And he understood. And who? Yahushua or Yahusha, or down here, Yeshua, Belibo, in his heart. Why is it that? Because we know the bet is in and lib means heart, lev, right? Lev is heart. So in his heart, ki, that, Talmidayev, his disciples, again it's plural because of the yod, and it's his because of the vav. Malinim were complaining. It's a participle type. Right, now where's it come from? Hilin. Hilin is a verb to complain. Not to be confused with lun, which means to stay or to lodge. But this is, it here means were complaining. And with the mem, it's sort of like a participle form. That's why I've used were complaining. Whereas the English might say, Yeshua understood in his heart that the disciples complained. And so now we can read that. Vayavein, Yahushua belibo ki talmidav malinim. And he understood Yeshua in his heart that his disciples were complaining. And so we come to 61b. We have an Ayin Lamed, Zayin Aleph, Tav, Vav Yod, Aleph Mem, Resh, Aleph Lamed, Yod Hey, Mem Savit, Hey Hey, Yod Tav, Hey, Zayin Aleph, Tav, Lamed, Kaf, Mem Savit. And so we read it. Al Zot, about this. Al can be used as regarding, about, upon, various meanings. But in context, it's about this. Va-yo-mer. And he said, because there's no pronoun, so it's him saying it. Alehem, unto them. Hem is them. He, haita, has it become. And the root of it, of course, is haya, which normally means to be or to become, right? So I've put it, and because of the hey in front, it could be termed as a question. Has it become? Zot this, la kem, for you. So in the English, it's his disciples complained about this. So he said to them, has this become for you? So let us read that. Al Zot Vayomer Alehem He Haita Zot Lakem. About this, and he said unto them, has it become this for you? And then we come to 61c. We have a Lamed, Mem, Kaf, Shin, Vav, Lamed. Le-mik-shol. Le-mik-shol, for a stumbling block. If we look up mik-shol, it's a masculine noun, means obstacle, stumbling block, or hindrance. And in English, has this become for you as an obstacle? So any of those is adequate. So let's just read that. Le mik shol. For a stumbling block. And now we return to the revision. So we can see we've got a nun. We know that's 50. A Zion has a value of 7. So we're in 57. Ka'asher, like that. Shelachani, he sent me. Ha'av, the Father. Ha'chai, the living. Ve'anoki, and I am, or I, chai, live, biglal, because of. Like that, he sent me, the Father, the living, and I live because of Avi, my Father, Ken. So, ha'okel, the one eating, oti, me, gum also, who he, yichyeh, he shall live, big la li, because of me. My Father, so the one eating me, also he shall live because of me. And then we have a nun, 50, chet 8, we're in 58. Who, he, halachem, is the bread. Ha-yored, the one descending, min from ha-shemayim, the heavens, lo not ka'asher, like that. He is the bread, the one descending from the heavens. Not like that. Oklu, they ate, avotekem, your fathers, et Haman, the manna, vaya mutu, and they died. Ha okel, the ones eating, they ate your fathers, Grandma Micah, the manna, and they died. The one eating, because that could be like a new phrase, the one eating, et Grandma Micah, halachem, the bread, hazeh, this, yichyeh, he shall live, le'olam, forever. And therefore, because this is all part of one phrase, it is singular there. The one eating the bread, this, he shall live forever. Right? Grandma Michael, the bread, this, he shall live forever. Then we have a Nun 50, Tet 9. We're in 59. Ka devarim, like the words, ha'ele, these, diber, he spoke, be'veit, in the house, keneset, of the gathering, or the assembly. Translated the synagogue. Like the words these, he spoke in the house of the assembly, the synagogue. And so we come to 59b, and we have Be'lamdo, in his teaching, be kefar, in the village of Nahum. In his teaching, in the village of Nahum, the minor prophet. Samek has a value of 60. So we read it. The rabbim, and many, me tal me Daiv, from his disciples, ke sham like their hearing, or when they heard, Omru, they said, kashe, hard or difficult. And many from his disciples, when they heard, they said, hard. Hadavar, the word, hazeh, this, me, who you call, shall be able, lishmoa, for hearing, oto, him. The word this, who shall be able to hear, or for hearing, him. And now we come to 61. It's a Samek. 60. Aleph 1. Va-ya-ven. Va-ya-ven. And he understood. Yeshua, that's who. Be-libo, in his heart. Ki, that. Talmidav, his disciples. Malinim, were complaining. And he understood Yeshua in his heart that his disciples were complaining. Al, regarding or about, zot, this, vayomer, and he said, alehem, unto them, he, haita. It's a questioning, hey? Is it, has it become, zot, this, lakem, for you, about this? And he said unto them, has it become this for you, le mikshol, for a stumbling block or an obstacle? For a stumbling block. And then we come to our vowels just to solidify that we fully grasp and we know what our vowels are. First, we have a kamats. And if you listen to it, kamats, it's a longer A sound. Then we have patak, shorter A. Zere, that's a longer E sound. Then we have segol, short E. Shiva, which breaks the word up into the syllables. And then we have cholam, the O sound. Shuruk, short U. Kubutz, a longer U. And then we have a combination called a kataf, segol, with the shavar and the segol. Then we have chirik, that's the I sound. Then the kataf, patak. After the shavar, we have the shorter A sound. And then we have kataf, kamas. So after the shavar, we see we got a longer A sound. And finally, to complete a lesson, we've got the resources, but also the chart with all the values, which we just take randomly. Nun is 50, Kaf is 20, Zade is 90, Shin is 300, Mem is 40, Chet is 8, Dalet is 4, Vav is 6, Fe is 80, and Tav is 400. And we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we hope these lessons are truly encouraging and you're beginning to understand your Hebrew. And if you just keep at it, you will have greater understanding, and then you can look at all the scriptures and just see and check out how the translations, you look at that words. And so we just want to wish you Shavua Tov, a good week, in the name of our Master and Savior, Yeshua or Yahusha. Amen.